Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. From the deepest jungles to the outmost reaches of space and beyond the veils of death itself, the Bald and Bonkers Boys are back for another episode. It's no secret that you won't know what will happen next, but Dakota Branson and Chris Mould promise that all bets are off. Viewer discretion and straitjackets advised. These two idiots live up to the name.
Well, we're here. Shockingly.
I know. Shockingly, we're here. And we're talking about the subject tonight, which I've been looking forward to this actually, because I was hoping that all the mad flat earthers would come out the woodwork.
No,
we're living on a flat plane.
No, I was actually looking at the stats for the show before we came on. We already had people trying to dislike it before the show even fucking started.
I wonder who that could be.
Oh
no, I wonder who it could be. Is it the haters out there? Is it the folk out there that don't like us because we speak the truth sometimes? Oh, well, I'm really sorry.
We're not afraid to get a little unhinged sometimes.
I know. Look, there's Dots in the chat. Hey, Dots.
Yep. Figure he would be coming along.
I've been looking forward to this because the Flat Earther Society is the most stupid organization that was ever created by mankind itself.
It's up there. It's up there.
What I had to laugh is, did you ken that Flat Earthers have got followers all around the globe?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, you were talking about wanting to do like a flat Earth episode. It's like, there's a lot of stuff that gets tossed around that just does not work. I know everybody's excited, wanting to say government's this, the government lying, NASA lying, all these people lying about all this. And it's just, they're just looking for an excuse to promote their stupidity.
Right, this is what I'm going to say. Right, see, Flat Earthers, the thing about Flat Earthers is this: they constantly change their story.
Mm-hmm.
They constantly change the story. 1 minute they'll be like, "Ooh, we're living on a flat plane. The Earth is flat. We're covered by a ginormous globe that doesn't let anything in." Then they go, "But there's aliens that come and visit us for other worlds, which are planets, by the way." That's what they say, which are planets. And they come down in their spaceships to take away folk to experiment on.
Mm-hmm.
But then you sit there and think, but you just said in the first one that there's a big ginormous glass dome out of the Earth. What's like a wee door that opens up? It's not like Donald Trump's door, is it? There's like a wee door that opens up,
Mm-hmm.
And they come down in their spaceship. Like, the ludicrousity of the Flat Earthers are complete and utter morons. And I'm just going to say that right now. Yous are morons.
Yeah, and they're proud of it.
I'll be... Look at that guy in the the Nevada desert, Dakota, that built his own rocket.
Yep. Trying to prove that the Earth is flat by building his own rocket. What was it, like his third launch that he ended up killing himself?
Yeah. What do you know? Buy a hot air balloon for? Be safer.
It's probably cheaper too.
Yeah. Instead, he thought, do you know something? I don't know anything about engineering. I've never done anything like that. I'm going to build a rocket and I'm going to go into space. Hooray! Third launch. Boom.
Or it's like the married couple that wanted to sail to the ice wall from, what was it, Italy? Ended up getting stranded at sea.
Mm-hmm.
Dehydrated, famished, on the verge of death, and about a few hundred miles off course.
I actually know somebody that's in the merchant navy, and they were talking about that. They were actually talking about that, and it was actually a freighter. It was a cargo freighter that found them adrift at sea. They couldn't really do nothing but the phone for the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard came out and got them.
Yeah, I remember that story. Yeah, it's just they thought the trip would be much shorter than it actually was, and they almost ended up getting killed themselves because of it.
No, because they're idiots. I mean, what would they expect to see when they go to the ice wall? What would they expect to see this ginormous wall? Do you know that a lot of flat earthers refuse this challenge? I was watching something about this, and there's been scientists out there that says, I tell you what, let's do a challenge. If the earth is flat, one plane will take off for Australia and fly in one direction, whereas another plane will take off and fly in the opposite direction, right? Right? Now, on one plane, there'll be the flat earthers, another plane will be the scientists that say the earth's round, right? On a flat earth, it should take 3 times as long to get back to Australia. Whereas a globe goes right round. It should be really quick. Do you know that they refuse it, and they refuse to do it because they know that what they're saying is utter pish?
No. Remember?
No, what?
Remember? No, Chris, remember? Australia doesn't exist.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. So all my
I know.
relatives down there don't exist.
I know that's and anybody who says they claim to be in Australia or be from Australia, they're victims of hypnosis. This is another one of those things where if someone doesn't believe in the cause they're trying to promote if they're constantly moving the goalpost.
But here's an interesting thing, Dakota. There's a lot of big flat earthers now that live in Australia.
I know. I mean, what about those members? Are they not part of around their globe?
See, that's interesting. And do you know, every time I've went into their chat and I've went to message them and ask them one question, did you block you instantly? Because they don't like asking questions. They don't like you asking questions.
Yet they have full conferences surrounding the flat Earth theory, and they give all these presentations, and they let people ask questions there. I'm sorry. From the mentality they've had, often describes how guards in North Korea approach any questions about some of the mythologies they give about Kim Jong-un being born the day he was born and a star popped up in the sky and he doesn't actually use the restroom.
No, he was born on top of a mountain, seemingly. Kim Jong-un. The gods brought him down. I've seen the mad idiotically stupid stuff that they talk about. Oh, Kim, if you're watching this, Kim, if you're allowed internet.
And they're so devoted to this story, man. It's just, and if you go to question it just a little too much, you go to prison, your grandma goes to prison, your mother goes to prison.
Look, I'm going to say this to now. If you're truly sitting the now and you think the earth is flat, it is now. See, here's the thing. There was a flat earth live the other night on YouTube. Right? I couldn't resist it. I had to get and watch it, right? And one of them, I must admit, I give them an A for their simulations that they make up. I must admit, is brilliant, right? Now, one of them was like, they had actually put the sun going round about, right? And it was lighting the earth, and that's what they say it is, right? I couldn't help myself. I says, well, what happens if you go to Alaska where it's dark 1 month out the year, whereas in the summertime it's light 1 month out the year, right?
Or go to spots like Antarctica where
oh, don't talk, you're false. Instant ban.
Yeah.
Instant.
Or what about locations where, like in Antarctica, where Antarctica is supposed to be the ice wall, where there's almost never nighttime?
I know.
Yeah.
Because they're idiots. I'm sorry. If you're not happy with this statement, ladies and gentlemen, please contact Bald and Bonkers. There's the email address on the site. Find it somewhere. It's about. And honestly, if you don't like it, well, you just can lump it.
Come on,
come
debate your cause. Seriously,
I've actually met a flat earther, right? And I couldn't even be asked arguing with the guy because he was just that stupid, right? And I had the conversation. I says, "Look, the Earth is a ball. It's maybe not shaped quite like a ball, but it is. It's a ball floating through space." And he's like, well, how do you explain maps? And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, maps are flat. And I'm like, there's sheets of paper. What you meant? Did they carry a globe about with you? I could just see the new drive, a big ginormous globe sitting in the passenger seat. Aye, we meant to turn left up here at the chip shop. Okay, I mean, this is how stupid it's. I think it's folk that's got nothing better to do with their day, and they're just sitting there pondering life, and they're idiots. That's all I'm going to say.
This is one of those things where they know for a fact that the flat Earth theory, yes, thousands of years ago there may have been an official totem line that the Earth is flat, but no society ever truly believed in it.
Yeah.
It was two guys that wanted to make a bet.
Yeah.
Who are probably rolling in their graves, if I'm not mistaken, they passed.
I must admit, it's very lucrative, the Flat Earth Society.
Mm-hmm.
See the money that's been made on Flat Earth books. I mean, you need to be a complete moron to read one of them. Honestly, Jesus, somebody offered me one once, and I went, no. I mean, I will admit there is some of the things that they come up with are quite interesting. See, there's one with the International Space Station. They say that doesn't exist, right? They say it's all CGI, and they're all under the water and stuff like that. I will say there's been a few times where people have been in spacewalks, and you've seen like something moving, and it does look like a bubble. You get where I'm going with this, right? But
Yeah.
I think I've got a theory here, right? Look, obviously we know there's a secret space program, and obviously we've got technology out there where we don't need to use like space stations, what's all been there, right? Basically, we don't need things like that.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if it's just up there for show? The space station, right? What happens if it's just up there to float about to say that's where all the money's going, right? What happens if when you see folk doing like spacewalks and that, maybe that is fake? Maybe that is fake. Maybe it is indeed tanks, right? Because obviously we've got technology where we can go to Mars in a couple of minutes and stuff like that. So what happens if the space station, it's there, but it's just empty and it's just floating through space? You see where I'm going with this? And that's to say, we've no good technology like that. We're up there floating about and stuff like that. Because I will say this, the flat earthers, I'll give them their dues on this. Have you seen the one where the astronauts are doing like spins inside the space station, and you can see the wires holding them up because they grab their foot. I think they're onto something there. The Earth is a ball and it's a planet, but I think that the ISS, right, it's fake. I think it exists. I think it's looking down on Earth now, but I don't think there's anybody in it. And that's the honest truth. I don't think there's anybody in it because it could be easily faked.
Yeah, it could. Especially with technology nowadays, that it's readily available to just about anybody. And there are, in many cases, braces when they go to do those spins to prevent them from basically whacking their head on something because they get an open wound up there. The blood doesn't come out; it just kind of bubbles right there, and stuff like that. And they have to be careful because they say the one thing you never want to hear an astronaut say is the words "uh-oh." It's up
Fire
there.
in
They
space
do have
is a bad
operation.
thing.
It's up there. They do have operations up there, but there is much more behind the scenes.
Yes.
And I will say this: it has been confessed that NASA has a Photoshop department.
There is a lot of videos out there, and I'm going to side with the flat earthers here on this subject. On some of the videos, they do look very mysterious. Whereas some of the astronauts are looking through a corner in the space station, they just like disappear. But then again, that could be due to the fact that it's beaming that back to Earth and stuff like that. It could be due to the signal getting brought in.
Yeah.
But there's been times where people have been filming in mission control, and you'll see the people standing, but behind them it's a blue screen. So it makes you wonder, is that fake? I think the space station is just an empty tin can floating through space. There's a camera on it pointed down. I think there's something else up there. And look, we've got the technology. There's meant to be a big ship. It's meant to be orbiting the Earth anyway. It's been up there for a while anyway.
Yeah. Also, another thing, blood doesn't clot in zero gravity. Yeah.
I didn't get
But it
that.
also doesn't necessarily leave the wound. It just pools
It just gets
right
like
there.
blobs. It's just like blobs floating out. Yeah.
Barely even that. It's like you don't want to get injured while in space. And like I said, it is another thing. Yes, NASA has a Photoshop department, and there's actually been members who have worked in the Department of Justice within the 70s and 80s who have actually fully confessed that all the technology that we have in like Amazon devices and the Siris and the Google Homes, that shit's been around since at least the 70s. Albeit this stuff now is a bit faster, but that shit's been around for a while.
I think there's a lot of things we don't understand about this world. I think we've got technology that's far, far, far superior than what you could possibly imagine. The space station, I think, is just an empty can floating through space. You can watch the live feeds on it. See, this is the thing. If that was fake, why would they cut the feeds every now and again? That's where I think the outside of the ship, it's real, right? But inside, I don't think there's anything going on inside it. I think it's just unmanned. I think it's just floating about. And that's my honest truth. We sat there, Lawrence. They're up there, all right. Either that or SpaceX are offering joy rides. Would you go with
Believe me,
SpaceX?
Dude, I have been trying to get on a SpaceX mission for a few times now. Since we've known each other. You remember back in our former days, I was talking about that. I was part of a mission selection process that was going to take one of the rockets that Elon was proud that blew up. And I was like, come on, Elon! God damn it, man!
I mean, it's quite interesting if you listen to Elon now and again talking about stuff. Again, he does stuff to wind folk up. And you ever noticed how he winds up the flat earthers? You ever noticed that?
Oh,
he thinks it's funny as anything. Because he says his last rocket blew up and all the flat earthers started saying, oh, I hit the firmament. It hit the firmament and it blew up. And then he went out in a radio show and he went, oh, I hit the firmament. That's what happened. Look, he's going to do that just to annoy folk, right? If I was a billionaire like him, a trillionaire like him, I'd do things like that to annoy folk, to make them think that these things happened.
Elon likes screwing with people. Without a doubt. Just look at everything that's happened with Twitter.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to say this now. The Earth isn't flat. It isn't flat. It's a globe. I want to say is the Earth no mere like an egg kind of shape? Is it no kind of longer at the bottom? It's something to do with the tides in it?
It's officially, I can't remember the scientific name of it, and somebody knows in the chat what it is. Feel free to share. Share your opinions on the BS we're talking about. It's more of a pear shape.
Aye. Exactly.
And it's because of tidal forces that it does sort of distort it in a way of speaking.
See, the other theory with the flat earthers, and we'll be talking about other conspiracy theories tonight, but the other ones is the moon. They say that's a giant light bulb. The same with the sun. The sun is a ginormous light bulb. It must be some, excuse the swearing here, fucking light bulb to put out all that light, right? Look, honestly, I've heard some utter madness in my day. One of them were talking, that TikTok especially, how the sun is a ginormous LED bulb. I mean, how stupid can somebody be? And the moon's actually a control room. I'll tell you where they've got that idea for. I'll tell you exactly where they've got the idea. You ever watched the Truman Show?
Yeah.
No. And the Truman Show, the folk that ran everything were in the moon. That's what they were. On the image, there was a wee window. I'm telling you, that's where they've got that for, because that's how stupid these people are. They believe everything. We should start
I
a
know.
new theory. The Earth is a square. What do you think? I think it's a square.
Actually, if you actually run the simulations just right, there is, in theory,
There's
a
dots.
oblique spheroid,
Mm,
something along those lines. Yeah,
thanks, dots.
but in simple terms, it looks like a pear. But did would you know that if the conditions were just right, technically, you could have a planet that looks like a donut?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd just be all
Well,
around,
this is kind of doing
and
the
but
theory of Master Chief and the rings and all that kind of stuff, innit? Halo.
not quite Halo, but we could probably get something very similar. But the thing is, they also say that if that donut planet were to have a moon, chances are it would just dart up and down in the center.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the math actually checks out. It can technically happen in theory. Has it ever been found? I don't know. I
Look,
imagine NASA would be more than happy to put out that story if it was.
look, I'm going to say something now, right? We don't know really that much about space, right? We only know things about space that we've been told by so-called scientists, right? And what the extraterrestrials have said that space is much different than we think it is, right? What's that?
I'm
Homer's
just reading
dream. Oh
the
my
chat.
god! I actually thought about that, but I never said anything. I was thinking about doing
Donuts.
it. I've
We're
actually been
called
doing this
Bald
down
and
the stairs.
Bonkers for a reason. Come on.
Look, I think space is much more different than we could possibly realize, right? Obviously, we're being lied to about the extraterrestrials, and there's other planets in the solar system and stuff they don't talk about. Okay, I mean, I think there's much more happening. See, the scientists nowadays, I wouldn't believe anything they say because obviously they've been lying about the space program, they've been lying about technology. It's like, what's your thoughts on Neil? Is it Neil deGrasse Tyson? What's your thoughts on that guy, Dakota?
I like some of the points that Neil makes. I'll
Hmm.
admit some of the more recent ones when it comes to the ET side of things, he's really trying to stretch that we don't know 100% sure that it's ETs. He's one of the ones that'll full out admit that when it comes to space and understanding, life outside the world,
Yeah.
what we're usually taught is based around a very, very small sample size. What we know works on Earth. But here's the thing, we have so much life on Earth that lives in such extreme environments. We already know that if given enough time, life finds a way. So we don't know
Yeah.
what's exactly out there.
There's is it John Morris in the chat there. What's that? Flat Earth is an intelligence psyop to keep everyone exactly. Arguing to keep I'm just
Portion
reading
of
it,
the
guys.
Earth from
There's
believing
an
in ETs, because if we are under a dime, underwater, then one must be all alone. Is their logic? Yeah. Again,
Look,
it's one of those things.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to put the challenge out there. If a flat earther wants to come in and discuss it with us, we will set up a show one night. Right? You'll
Mm-hmm.
need to contact Bald and Bonkers and say who you are and all that kind of stuff. And if you want to come in and prove to us that the earth is flat, right? I personally think that it's madness, right? It's madness. Why would the earth see this? Let's go to this scenario before we jump on to the next subject. I mean, why would the earth be flat and every other planet round?
There would have to be some serious. There had to be some serious cataclysmic events
I'd be
for it to
serious.
happen.
What would be the point of that? What would be the point of like, right? Say for instance, a creator came along and says, right, let's make all the other planets, let's one the entire galaxy universe. Let's make one of them flat. Unless we lived in Mars at one point, we knew we were dying, so we built a flat Earth. Well, I think maybe
Yep,
just
that's
started
what they
something
say.
new. There's
Part of
that.
the They say that's part of where humanity came from. Is that Mars at one point and it's not really disputed, was very much like Earth, but some sort of cataclysm happened. Exactly what? There's several theories out there. And they all support that some serious shit went down. But again, if there's only one planet that's actually flat, while all the rest
Yeah.
of them are round, what the hell happened? Now, granted, if there's some mass creator society species out there who had a fucking sense of humor and
Oh,
just did it just for shits and giggles and they had the power to do it, I imagine they would do it just for the hell of it. But
I just don't see the point here. I mean, all the other planets in the solar system are planets. They're round, right? Even the moons are round, some of them. I just don't see the point of having a flat Earth. I mean, if the Earth is flat, right, what's underneath? Or what's on the other side? See, have you
exactly.
seen the maps? Have you seen the maps that flat earthers have made up? It's got the Earth, and then it's got the ice wall round about it, right? And then there's a wee opening, and then there's another continent, and then there's another ice wall,
Yeah, no.
and there's a wee opening, and then there's another,
There's
and it just goes on and on and on and
There's
on.
that map that goes around that they say was found in an ancient Japanese temple, and it shows, different, continents outside the ice wall. But if you actually try to look at the origin of this thing, the story changes every time. The story changes every time. And it's just like, you want people to follow you to understand your points, but you're not making any effort to actually make goddamn sense. I mean, granted, it's the 2020s. We don't know what the hell's going on no more. So much weird shit has been happening lately. Anything is possible, but still, this is why I keep telling people, if you're going to make certain claims, get ready to prep yourself like you're getting ready for a court case, so that way you can stand your ground. Otherwise, don't even try.
I think, to be fully honest with everybody in the room, if a flat earther wants to come on one night, contact Bald and Bonkers, and we can come on and you can try and prove your case to us, right? And that's the best we can do. But on that subject, do you want to move on to another one? What other mad theories is there out there, Dakota?
Well, let's go to one that just had a rather interesting update this past week. I sent you the article on this one.
What was that one? It didn't work?
No. That was for the merch on TikTok. It didn't work because you were in the UK. But no, I'm talking about a zombie apocalypse.
Oh, aye, the zombie apocalypse. Aye.
And I wanted to mention this because last week on September 23rd, I'll go ahead and post the link to the article I'm about to reference in the chat.
Fungus.
We obviously know that there are several fungus that have mind control properties that affect like ants and snails, and, smaller creatures like that. And I know, and for those of you who are fans of The Last of Us, the video game or the show, this was referenced. But the main thing was, these fungus could not live in an environment that the human body creates. We're simply just too hot. No, you're not attractive. Most of y'all probably fucking ugly. No, it could not handle our body's temperature. However, in India, it's been documented for the first time a fungus has actually planted itself in a human body and survived.
I read the article on it, and it was
I sent you it as soon as I found.
It was a guy that he was some type of looked at these creatures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And somehow he caught it in because his throat started giving out pus and stuff like that. Aye. And
it actually started to root in his throat.
And
it's the first time. It was over in India where it happened. It's the first time if this has ever officially been documented. But, ladies and gentlemen, on your 2020 bingo cards include a possibility for a zombie apocalypse. You might be getting close to checking that one off.
See, that's the thing, right? Everybody says that the Earth's going to end in a nuclear war or there's got to be a zombie apocalypse. We'll never know. I don't think there's got to be any. I don't think there's got to be a nuclear war. I can tell you that right now. I don't think there's got to be a nuclear. I will say this, sir. That what Dakota's talking about. I mean, that would be so easy to start spreading. No, it needs to mutate a couple more times.
Yeah. Well, there's several different biological threats that could be lurking to cause what we would call a zombie apocalypse. I'm not just talking about,
Rabies.
zombies out of Haitian culture in case Pete decides to pop in tonight, but
Pete.
But when you really think about it, technically we do have zombies. They're called fentanyl junkies.
Oh, so for a second, I thought you were going to say flat earthers there.
Nah, I'm talking about fentanyl and bath salts, man.
I will say that I've seen that in like Detroit and the major cities in America, and they're just wandering about because they've been taking
Yeah, we
crazy
got a
amounts
bad
of drugs.
fentanyl problem here too.
But here's the thing: all it takes is like you've got the rabies virus that turns like dogs and other like say animals into ravenous beasts, right? How easy is that for that to mutate into a human and cause, like, say, for instance, the movie 28 Days Later?
It can actually cause violent and psychotic behavior in humans.
Yeah.
It already can, and all it takes is just being bit by a rabid dog.
Yeah.
And not getting to the doctor ASAP.
See, I definitely think something's going on. See, well, what's going on in the new and remember how schools in America and that have been doing drill lockdowns and stuff.
Yeah.
But obviously that's for like shooters on the loose and stuff like that. They've actually started doing it in the UK now. Did you know that?
You were telling me about that.
Yeah, I seen it on TikTok. Didn't believe it, but I went and looked it up, and it's right enough. They've actually started it in schools, and one of the pupils said, "What's going on?" We said, "Well, we're practicing in case there's a wild animal on the loose."
Well, from the way you worded it, made it sound like you actually had like an incident where there was an animal found on a school campus.
No. All the schools are starting to practice this now, all across the UK.
That's the thing. That's the thing I didn't understand about that particular explanation. Y'all don't really have anything that could cause major casualties. I mean, if a Highland cow decides to go rampant, yeah, those things could probably fuck some people up.
Sheep, cows, horses.
The worst you
supporters,
have as far as
just oil supporters.
I was in Scotland when this sign got tagged saying,
"Do you know that's still there? That's still there.
It's still there.
It's still there. Yeah, somebody put a new sign up, and it was, and then they went and did it again. The Earth is flat, and see, just doing fit. There's a service station where there's cash machines. Above the cash machine, somebody spray painted "The Earth is flat."
Could it very well be someone who works there?
Nah, that's what I'm thinking. But look, it's quite interesting. They're starting to do this in schools. And see, I've heard something for somebody. I'm not saying his name because he works in the military, but he's been telling me that the governments right now in the UK and US are practicing for mass riots. But it's not just mass riots, they're also practicing for outbreaks.
Yeah. Hospitals have been told to prep up for another possible outbreak. Just like what happened with COVID. They're ordering hospitals to start stocking up on supplies for another potential outbreak. They're already trying it again. They're gearing up.
A lot of hospitals in the UK have been getting biohazard suits delivered. So what makes me think, right, there's a couple of things that could be happening here. One, there could be another outbreak. What's that? The West Nile virus, right?
Or the Nipah virus that's got India locked down right now.
Or it could be for a chemical attack in a nuclear war. Not a nuclear war, but a chemical attack. Right? But why would schools be practicing lockdowns in the UK? You know, they've actually made a special device for the doors. They put it over the door, and you can't open it out. You can't open the door whatsoever.
Yeah, is it the one where it's kind of like a sleeve for the middle arm?
No, no,
Yeah, we got those over here.
no.
They started rolling them out when I was still in school.
But in the UK, I understand in America where you get people that shoot people and stuff like that, and you get
We
bears,
actually
and
have
you get
concerns with wild animals.
and you have wild animals. I mean, you're not going to have like a hedgehog on the loose or something like that. Yeah, I mean, it's I think there's more. I think something's about to happen. I think it's. I don't know if it's financial or something's going to happen very soon.
Well,
And
here in the States, apparently they're getting ready for another government shutdown because of the financial situation.
yeah,
Then, of course, we also have New York City flooding right now.
I seen that. I see.
No,
Jesus,
that looks like that. You know the movie The Day After Tomorrow?
that's a good movie. That yeah.
It almost looks like that movie just before the big frost comes in and
Yeah.
freezes everybody.
I will say this, right? There's loads of conspiracy theories out there. I mean, there's also the other one. Where is it? I mean, if you really wanted to go into this, you could go to the September the 11th.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you really wanted to go down the road of conspiracies, I mean, let's no talk about the towers or anything like that. Let's talk about the Pentagon. Do you think that was a plane?
Something made to look like a plane.
I don't think it was a plane. Have you seen the new video that's been released?
Yep.
Was it? Yeah, and it comes in, and it's been slowed right down. And it's a missile. It's like a Tomahawk missile, and it comes in. Do you know that there's actually the survivors of that? The day before that happened, there was a statement made saying there was, what is it, something like $20 trillion or something stupid like that. Well, $100 trillion was missing, right?
Yep.
And the next day, they said a plane flew into the Pentagon, and just by sheer chance, the bit of the building that destroyed was the bit where all the records were kept for the money that was missing. Isn't that handy? Now, there was survivors of that climbed out of the wreckage afterwards, and there was a US colonel, and it's a woman, and there was a captain man, and one was Air Force, one was military, army, and obviously she was stoating about, looking about, and there was no wreckage whatsoever at aircraft, just a hole inside the building. But an hour into it, she's seen loads of trucks coming in, right? And then she was watching on like CNN or whatever the next day, wreckage airplane lying everywhere, and it wasn't there when she climbed out the wreckage. So it's
I've seen situations where the feds had boots on the ground kicking in doors because someone made a school shooting threat within the hour of the threat being posted. So that actually checks out for them to mobilize.
Yeah. I'm going to say this. Everything is a deception. Like September 11th, I think it was an inside job. Definitely, it's coming out. It is coming out. It's slowly coming out. It will come out one day. It'll maybe not come out until me and Dakota's got long gone and you guys in the chat long gone, but it will come out that it was an inside job.
They've been stating since the day it happened that the plane, yes, something did hit those towers. The event did happen, and there's still people that are dealing with medical issues from what happened that day. But
because of the asbestos and stuff,
just all the shit that was getting tossed in the air. But if a plane, there have been buildings that have been made with very similar structures as the World Trade Center who have been hit by planes. That did not come down. They've been stating since the day it happened there were likely controlled explosives on the inside of that as for a demolition job.
Yeah. I mean, two things here I'm going to talk about is in New York was the fact that they found the passports of the terrorist pilots a couple of blocks away in immaculate condition. Right? Do you know? See that kind of strange? Yeah, I mean,
You know,
they found the
you couldn't have
passports.
taken 5 seconds, throw some dirt on it.
Yeah, but another one interesting one. What was the dots? MD in the chat. I can't remember what building it was. What was the building next to the Twin Towers that collapsed that didn't even have a penny broken glass in it?
I believe it was Tower 7.
Right, Tower
It
7.
was still part of the it was part of the World Trade Center, but
Yeah, but it wasn't.
it came down, but nothing hit it.
Do you think the buildings come down perfectly there? I mean, seriously, whoever what had happened,
So
you'd
that's
think it would have
why
fell.
everybody's speaking of like government conspiracy, it's a lot like the bent bullet from JFK.
Yeah,
That if it was a legitimate, something crashing into it and the building come down, it was too clean, for lack of a better
exactly.
word. That coming down like that is a controlled demolition
Controlled
to try to
process.
avoid to try to avoid other buildings getting too damaged.
And the other things too was that there was some relations that tried to phone their relatives, mobile phones, like 5 hours after it happened, and the phones were ringing, which is interesting because it makes you wonder: did they do something to everybody in that plane? Did that plane land to take everybody off it and then just flew it straight into the building?
No, they were on those planes.
Oh yeah, we're on. But there was look. Everything is a lie. What's going on in the world right now is a lie. What's happening in Europe now with other Europe countries giving them weapons and stuff like that, it's a lie. I mean, it's ridiculous what's happening in Ukraine now because they've lost 540,000 troops.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously the Western media. You'll notice that the Western media are not really talking about Ukraine now. Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah,
Because they're losing, guys. They're losing,
they're
and it's
losing
going to
horribly.
end. Oh yeah, they're losing horribly. It's the only thing that's going to save them is winter, and it might slow it down a wee bit.
Mm-hmm.
But here's a conspiracy theory for you. Antarctica. Do you think there's pyramids
I was
in
actually ready
Antarctica?
for you there. Yes, there are pyramids.
Yeah.
There are pyramid-like structures in Antarctica. You got to consider there's at one point in Earth's history where Antarctica was a tropical jungle.
That's right.
And there could be very well thousands of completely undiscovered things under the ice that we just have not been able to get to. And now that the ice is melting, it's going to start coming out.
Yeah. But what gets me is I think there's something else going on there. Like,
Okay.
I don't know if it's extraterrestrial or something else because no other country is allowed to go there. Well, only like we delegations and that are allowed to go. I mean, they say that Antarctica is rich in resources, highly rich in
It is.
resources,
It is.
but nobody's allowed to go there. It makes you wonder: is there a civilization still living there to this day?
The Antarctica treaties are made it to where, yes, you can go down there, but it's for mostly military and scientific research purposes because the environment is so harsh. You can't necessarily just have open tourism down there. That's why there's a shit ton of forms. I mean,
What's
hell,
that?
I was supposed to go down on a Antarctica mission, but the second they realized my medical history, they're like, "Oh, never mind."
There's some John Morris mentioned something about Elena.
Hey, yeah, no, one of the
Elena
Cedar races had a colony down there, and allegedly, we're just going to float with that for a while. Allegedly, there's been expeditions in Antarctica who have found, what look like giant test tubes full of cloned bodies.
I heard
in
that.
Antarctica. Yeah.
I've heard that. I was interested in the big black pyramid. There's like a pyramid and it's just like black. And it makes it makes you wonder what could be buried below that. What ancient technology is.
I was about to say, isn't the Predator films based around this pyramid?
That's right. That's right.
Oh wait, no, the Predator films actually came out before they officially announced that it was down there.
See, that's the thing. I wonder one day they'll come out with it all.
Honestly, this is one of those rare occurrences where individuals like Elena need close monitoring, because it does very well seem like damn near everything they're putting out is coming to fruition to the T.
Yeah.
When you look at all the major discoveries that have been coming out lately, it was especially in the last few months alone, it certainly makes you wonder, are they just going to try to write it off as, humanity just had one hell of a creative spark and all these new major discoveries are coming out all at once? Or and that's going to be their way of trying to hide the fact that, oh yeah, this has already been here for at least a few decades? Because anybody on the inside has said that any technology that has been hidden away is at least 300 years more advanced than any exotic technologies that mankind is able to imagine today.
Well, you've got to remember too that the governments of the world will that we're taking that, and the civilians are not allowed that because we can make weapons out of this stuff.
Exactly. They're gonna want the fancier toys.
Yeah, it's like the medipods that are meant to be coming out. I mean, obviously, if you could heal your soldiers, can you imagine the difference they would make for Ukraine now for their soldiers?
Oh yeah.
Right. I mean, I think it'll be a while before that comes out, because obviously the system needs to change first. The system does need to change, but the world is messed up, and I think we need to change all the governments. All the governments need to change before anything like that will come out. Did you see that article about the teeth? They can regrow human teeth.
Yeah.
That's absolutely. Can you imagine that, guys? And they say by 2030, I don't know if it'll work in older people, but where your teeth have been pulled out, they can actually regrow the tooth.
They've had that. I know that they've been putting out information about that since I was like 9, though. But again, anybody who's been on the inside will fully admit that if there's any truly redefining discoveries that would absolutely wipe out entire infrastructures, those are quickly suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, here's the thing. Everyone wants to try to say, flat Earth is just a psyop. Here's the thing, and several retired CIA agents have fully come out and will admit to this. The CIA doesn't necessarily make shit up. It just stokes the fire of what's already there. People are created these theories all around by themselves. They just realize that they can manipulate these situations in order to get their own favor.
I'm going to say this. I think the CIA have got a lot of people out there, like fake YouTubers that talk about aliens. Honestly, I definitely do. I think they've got plans. And because you see it all over TikTok, or the Greys are this, the Greys are that, the Greys are the nicest ever, the Greys are amazing. You want to do different, you want for the Greys. But there's obviously some of the folk are just making it up and they're stupid and they don't know what they're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you get the ones that are really, they've got like a big following, right? Do you think sometimes, like, you see these folk that do prepping and all that for disasters, right? And they're like, oh, buy my book and all that. The world's going to end tomorrow, and they're constantly putting it out there. Do you think that the CIA is maybe wanting them to do that?
Like I said,
to make folk paranoid.
It's been well documented. They just stoke the fires of anything they're wanting to suppress, and people on their own are doing it by themselves. The CIA just give it a little nudge here and there. I mean, if you really want proof that this has happened and does happen, look into how the CIA gained influence in the Philippines. They took advantage of the local mythology surrounding the Aswang, which is kind of like this vampiric creature,
That's right.
killed innocent people, made it look like a vampire attack, said, hey, we can come in and help you. All of a sudden, the CIA's there. No more attacks take place. They earn the trust.
Aye.
You know,
No, my lithium mine.
there's a gentleman by the name of Andrew Bustamante that I've really wanted to get on the show, and we've corresponded a couple of times. He's retired CIA, retired back in 2014, who talks about all of this, and it's just one of those things where you have to sit back and listen to some of the things he says, and it's just like, holy fuck, really?
Yeah. There's a lot of cloak and dagger stuff going on. There really is. Right now, as we sit here and talk about this stuff, you imagine the stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah.
It's actually quite frightening, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah.
What they're actually doing. Because a lot of the drugs and that come into the US, it's not really the cartels that are bringing it in, it's the CIA.
No, it's the
Do you know what I
cartels
mean?
with the CIA's help.
Yeah.
And the cartels will fully admit all the shit they do, they learned from us.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The world is a messed up place. And that's going to be a show tomorrow night. We're talking about how messed up it really is, and new use and stuff, guys. And another thing, guys, if you would love to become a member of the channel, you now can become a member. How is it to become a member? Is it just click on the icon?
Yeah, I mean, hell, Lawrence will know. He's the first one that signed up.
Look, the first member of the channel. How much is the membership? It's not that much, is it?
99 cents.
99 cents, guys, to become a member of the channel.
You can go become a member on YouTube. We have the Patreon. You can subscribe to us on Twitch. We have subscriptions available on our TikTok as well.
Yeah.
We have all sorts of merch.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what did you think of the merch? I screenshotted you, Chris.
You screenshot me merch?
Yeah, I screenshotted you what the link was supposed to take you to.
Or just give me a sec. One is that the one where it's a wee sign and it swears?
Yeah, it's a little business card.
Aye.
And I figured, I'll admit, I know I can, cross the line when it comes to my jokes, and Chris and I already duke shit out, but it gave me an idea for some new merch, and it's available on the TikTok shop for those of you in the US. For those of you not, there's a separate merch store set up through Printify where you can get these as well. You hear those lines about not giving a fuck. Well, I made up little cards that say that this card represents one fuck given. Please use wisely and fuck off. I was trying to get the picture downloaded so I can bring it up on the
You need to bring out a t-shirt that says something like that.
Yeah, we can do that pretty easy here.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get this going. If I don't press the wrong button and kick my own ass out of the show. I've done that.
Can you imagine if you did that? Kick I'd be here to entertain everybody, But I'm looking forward to tomorrow night to talk about, because there's a lot of things happening all over the world, the floods in New York City. I mean, that was just horrendous. I mean,
Yep, there it is.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Go and buy it. He's went to buy it.
Yeah, you can buy up to a 200 pack.
So there you go.
Yeah.
You should, what's that in the chat there? Angela Ellison. Saw a craft this morning. Broad
Broad daylight,
daylight.
perfectly crystal sky. It was stationary, classically shaped, bright white or silver with a dark line around it. Around the middle, it vanished. Watched it for a good minute. Yeah.
Yep. They're coming to
East
take us
of
all away. Maybe
Venice,
no, mate, you don't
Indiana.
like me.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That actually sounds about right. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. Have you seen, speaking of which, have you seen the footage that's come out of Dallas?
No.
Okay, basically it's a news report, where they're talking about the weather and they have a skyline shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I honestly want to take a closer look at. It. Dots probably knows what I'm talking about. And all of a sudden, you see several sparkling lights in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I kind of want to take a better look at it, see if I can find a clearer shot, because it does kind of look like it could be reflections from the ground below, just from
Yeah.
how it's presented. But nevertheless, that kind of freaky looking.
I've not seen that. I seen one talking about the flat earthers. I seen one last night about the flat earthers, and there's a plane flying along in the moon. Is a way down the bottom, which is unusual. But I think it's like an illusion. It's like an illusion kind of thing. Your signal keeps dropping because you started talking about that. Did you notice that?
I am also running this through TikTok, and I'm shocked we haven't been taken down yet.
How many people are watching on TikTok now?
We had 12 views because I had the 18 and older turned on.
The 18 and older. Oh, I'm just gonna have a wee look.
I mean, yeah, see here, even Dots agrees. It does kind of look like a reflection, but yeah, I don't know. Part of it could very well be distorted because it's people recording it on their phones of what's happening on the screen, not directly from the news station itself.
I'll need to see that when I go for the night. When I go for a wee while, I'll have a wee look at that. That's
Yeah,
really
see if I can
interesting.
find it for you.
I send it when it's because that'll be really interesting, actually.
Yeah. I mean, well, Dallas has a major airport right there, so who knows?
Oh, there's one other thing that I was going to say. I'll post it in the chat. Jenny is away to the what do you call it place? The Hellfire Club
The
in
Hellfire Club.
The
Yeah.
Hellfire Club. Guys, after this show, I think she's going live from the location. I'll pop it in the chat there for you. Our channel link. I would appreciate it if you could give her a subscribe and watch it live. She's nearly at 800 subscribers now, which is really, 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 really good. I see we've got adverts now. I've just noticed that. I clicked back in the video, then playing an advert.
Yeah.
All we need is a rich millionaire to donate $1 million to Dakota here.
I know. Yeah, I know people don't like the ads. So if you want an ad-free show experience, subscribe to the Patreon.
Yeah, exactly. Look, it helps the channel. Okay, I mean.
Yeah, and if you go through Patreon, in case YouTube decides to take it away from us again, your perks aren't taken away.
So there you go. Plus, if you become a member, you can get special little videos because you could do actually some members only videos behind the scenes at your alien conference.
Yeah, I don't know. There's already happen to be some security measures put into place because of some crap going on.
Oh, you could do a wee filming bit with you up the dance floor doing a wee jig, or the aliens
Well,
run about you with the tentacles and stuff.
If I'm having time to record shit for social media, I am not having a genuinely good time, despite what these younger generation tries to say.
Look, he's going to meet some aliens from beyond the stars. think it'll be a good weekend. Elena Danen, she'll be there. A lot of people will be there. Talking about strange things. Which this said, a very strange looking building, even for Ireland. Yes, it is the Hellfire Club. So you want to go there, and she'll be going live shortly just after this, I think. So you'll be able to sit down and watch the ghosts and ghouls, and you never know what's roaming.
Yeah. You never know anymore. Like I say, it's the 2020s. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, that's what she was saying. Jenny was saying to me quite a lot, that because it's open all the time, you sometimes meet satanic worshippers up there.
Yeah.
So you could be doing the investigation, be folk in cloaks walking about going, oh, way, oh.
Yeah.
But anyway.
That, satanic worship, that's a whole other show in itself.
Oh, yeah. That is it would make an interesting show. It's a shame Mike, the Naked Bigfoot, passed away last year, because he knew quite a lot of stuff about that. And it's actually coming up to a year since he's nearly been gone, because was it Halloween night he passed away?
Yep.
So we'll need to remember Mike. A wee shout out for him and stuff like that.
Which kind of sucks for us when you really think about it. Suck that Mike passed away, but we knew he was having issues for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Just speaking of which, daylight savings. Apparently, it's right on the weekends of around Halloween this year.
Yes. The clocks will be coming back. So at 1 o'clock in the morning, it'll go back to, I think, 12 or 2 o'clock in the morning, it'll go back to 1.
Yeah, I know. People are wondering why does that matter? Because, when you're working between the U.S. and UK and the daylight savings don't line up, we've had some mishaps with scheduling.
I know. I've went for my shower and that. I've come on, I've turned the laptop on, Dakota's been live. I'm like, bugger.
Yeah, not because I accidentally hit the damn button again.
It's actually quite interesting, that wee pink button in there, because you see if you do hit it accidentally, it starts, Yeah,
you got to get like 10 seconds to get ready.
Mm-hmm.
Not counting the intro.
We sat there, Justin Catwell. Josh Gates sent his team to the Hellfire Club. Funny stuff.
Yeah, that's actually someone who I would like to get on a show one day, Josh Gates.
There you go.
But who knows? We'll see.
I've got actually Ghost Squad Scotland, and it'll also be through here. Oh my god, I've turned into an American. I've just went Ghost Squad Scotland.
I know. I was just like, did I just hear an American accent come out of him?
We'll be doing it on the 23rd, I think it is, and it's a Tuesday night. The new show will be launching, Paranormal Uncut with me and Jenny, with Neil Story. And then on Halloween's Eve, it'll be through here too. We have Lisa Fry coming on to talk about the ghosts and the ghouls. And there will be readings for those who have lost loved ones. If you want to come in and watch, you might get a free reading, because the veil will be thin.
That's very true.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you tomorrow night. Dakota has work to go to now, don't you, Dakota?
No, I don't work tonight.
Oh, you get the night off. Oh, there you go. You go back to your bed then and go to sleep. Dream about aliens.
No, go get some fucking dinner, because I'm hungry.
What you gotta have? What you gotta get? KFC bucket.
Spicy chicken salad. Spicy chicken taco salad with nacho cheese Doritos sprinkled in it.
That sounds really good, that, doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Dots will be sitting there with his cup of tea, his 59th cup. He'll be sitting there, and all he's got is left is a packet of bourbon biscuits.
Yeah.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, catch you all soon, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe anywhere you see Bald and Bonkers for even more insanity. Be sure to spread the love to the Bald and Bonkers Boys' other endeavors. And a special thank you to our audience, guests, and everyone else who helps make this crazy ride happen. Amazing things are ahead. Learn more by visiting www.baldandbonkers.net. See you next time. Much love and take care.